Yo, what is going on, guys? Coming back at you with another trade recap. Actually, this time it's just a market recap. There was no trade taken today. I had a trade drawn out, and it was all labeled out exactly where I wanted to go. Again, got the bias right. Again, got the trade right. We just didn't get a proper entry. The entry did present itself. It wasn't in my. I wasn't happy with the risk to reward, and I just wasn't happy on how it was all kind of looking out. I'll definitely show you guys, and you'll definitely get an understanding on why. There was one possibility of me taking a trade, and unfortunately, it did play out. It just was after the trading hours that I usually will actually enter my trades. So I followed my rules and stayed out of the market today. But anyways, let's get into this recap here. Starting on the daily time frame, as usual, we took out the high here, so I still had thought process of potential move to the downside. Now, when we come into the 4-hour time frame, this was the thought process that I was going through. So I wanted to see, I drew out the 4-hour order block right here, and my biggest interest was I think that we have more to I think we are going to come to the downside. We've been trading a lot to the upside. We've taken out all this buy side liquidity here. Now there is areas of sell side liquidity that need to be taken out, which are these areas down here. So what I wanted to see is either price tap into the order block and then we can take a trade to the downside, or B, we sweep out this high and take a trade to the downside. Either or, I'd be more than happy with doing. So I'm just gonna bar replay this. Okay, so basically this is what I was looking at. So I saw this is what I was looking at coming into London Open. So I saw that we just swept up this high. We were in a 4-hour fair value gap, but we were coming up closer to the top, which was closer towards that 4-hour order block. And we're still looking pretty bullish, making a move up. So if I saw us tap into that order block and then retrace off of it, that would give me a higher confidence to get in for a move to the downside. So we had this huge push up, tapped into the order block. We actually pushed pretty deep into that order block. So I thought maybe we were going to come up and take out the high, but we never did. We actually showed really nice respect off this order block. So right now I was anticipating price to push to the downside. Now I would want to see a higher time frame break a structure or a nice wanted to see more price action here, because I don't want to just go based off of this single liquidity sweep with just a 1-minute break a structure enter. I would like to get a couple more little bit of higher time frame confidence, maybe like a 3-minute break and then enter off a 1-minute fair value gap. Price tapped in the order block. We just started consolidating in here, so that made me think, yeah, we have potential to move down. And I'm not too sure what happened here, but we had this huge just drop. There was no news, there was nothing, so we had this huge drop, big push, we broke structure here, and that made me think, okay, so this has potential to go more to the downside. Now, I was going to take my trade. I was going to take a trade based off of this fair value gap here, but the problem that I had was stop loss was so big. I just wasn't really happy with how big of a stop loss that would have been. So if I was going to take a trade based off this fair value gap right here, I would have wanted to see price tap to the 50% level, and then we could have gotten a smaller stop loss, more of a tighter stop loss, and then take profits. We're a little bit tighter. That's kind of what I wanted to see. Unfortunately, we never came back to that 50% level to tap in to go back down. So basically, I just kind of sat on my hands and let price so basically what I did was just sat on my hands and let price play out a bit more, just to see what we could get from price. And then what I saw is when we tapped into this, we actually made a push to the downside, creating a fair value gap here. I didn't want to enter this because we didn't break structure here, so I was still just kind of waiting, looking at the 3 and the 5 minute to see if we broke structure too. Those would have given me more confidence as well. And yeah, basically, like you can see here, we never actually came up and tapped into the 50% level of that fair value gap, which I was going based off of the fair value gap on the 5 minute, because the 5 minute made a fair value gap, but it didn't break structure, and that's what kind of kept me out of the trade, was that we never got a nice break of structure. We did get that 5-minute push down. That could have been an indication to take the trade. I still just didn't feel comfortable with how big of a stop loss and just how big of a trade it would have been. But anyways, like I said, we never got back up to that 50% level, so I never entered the trade. Now, I was open to taking a trade if we broke structure down here, but unfortunately, we never got in during our trading hour. The first hour of London Open, that's when I'll take my trade. So we got this push down here, broke structure, and left behind a fair value gap. That's where I would have taken my trade here. I would have taken my trade, stop above this high, because this high should be protected at the rate it is now that we have respected this, push down. And then price taps in and we just tank down to all the TPs. So overall, I'm super happy with how I came into the markets and I just didn't take a trade. I'm really glad I didn't take a trade. Yes, it played out and yes, it went in my favor, but I'm glad that I didn't take a trade as it just didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right. I wasn't really willing to put the risk on the table for this trade. And in resulting, I didn't lose money. I didn't make money. I just sat out, but I learned a lot, but I got the bias right and the trade was correct. So at the end of the day, it is a win in my eyes. If you guys like these videos, like I always say, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It'll really help me out for future videos. And if you guys want to see anything else other than trade/market recaps, please let me know in the comment section below and I will be sure to take a look and see what I can do. See you tomorrow.